Alright, you'll have to excuse me. A little rum and coke cigar. I greatly need it at this moment in time. I did a video earlier on the new same-sex marriage rulings in the state of Alabama. The federal judge who ruled the state statutes preventing same-sex marriage were unconstitutional. And then her cowardice in putting a stay on her own decision. As far as that's the only way I can view it, is cowardice, because she pointed out that the 11th Circuit Court has already denied to hear an appeal from the state of Florida and upheld the judge's decision there. So she's convinced that they're going to uphold her decision, yet she institutes a stay. So all these people who were happy that Alabama was being dragged kicking and screaming into a more progressive era are now saddened and delayed by 2 weeks, which sickened me in and of itself. But then I'm watching the news tonight, and the newscaster says that the issue is far from decided, which is a load of crap. It's been decided. The statutes have been declared unconstitutional. Now, whether or not the idiot probates in Alabama decide to do their duties lawfully or be removed from office for refusing to do their duties lawfully, whether the state leaders decide to follow federal law and federal decisions or attempt to succeed from the union, that might be at issue. But the same-sex marriage is no longer. Yes, the Supreme Court may rule otherwise when their verdict comes down in June or whenever. Expected to be June. But until that point in time, this judge's ruling should hold. And I am normally upset with people when they talk about the stupidity of those from Alabama, their ignorance, the bunch of rednecks, Bible stuck up their butts, what have you. Because I'm an atheist. I live in Mobile. I've been an atheist for 27 or so odd years now, or 26 odd years now. I love this state for its beauty, some of its culture. I can't say I love it for the people who are in it anymore. I'm becoming more fed up more and more with the unreasoned prejudices and bigotries the older I get and the more I actually learn. I guess you could say the wiser I become, even though I don't claim to be super wise or super intelligent. Average intelligence, thick of skull. But I'm slowly but surely improving. And after hearing some of the things these people were said yesterday, the probate judges had to say, and what these people were saying on the news tonight, one guy said he swore to uphold the Constitution of the state of Alabama. So I guess he plans to ignore the federal court's ruling, which should land him in jail, as far as I'm concerned, so he can uphold a Constitution that contains statutes that have been determined to be unconstitutional by federal law and our Bill of Rights and our federal Constitution. Which shows you the depth of ignorance in this state, the depth of stupidity, the depth of bigotry and prejudice in this state. That this man thinks he can just ignore a federal judge's ruling in order to cling to his bigotries. And that this is the type of person we have as a leader in this state. It saddens me and sickens me to the point I'm about ready to leave the state and find somewhere else to live. But at the same time, I think it better to stay here and try to change things. Try to make them better. Try to get people to understand and stop being the assholes that they are in this great state. Which is great, because of the land it sits on, because of the abundance it holds, because of the animals and the beaches and all these other naturally occurring things. Not great because of the religious bigots who reside in it. To me, these people are no better than ISIS. ISIS may be using more force than they currently are, but they are still doing everything within their power, be it legally, unconstitutionally, what have you, to force everyone to conform to their personal religious morals, which goes both against the Constitution of this United States, which guarantees freedom of religion, guarantees that the government will not make any laws respecting the establishment of religion, and therefore not force anyone to follow or adhere to any one religion, and goes against their own beliefs, because they claim God gave mankind free will to choose in this lifetime and make his own decisions in this lifetime and live life how he chose to, and that God would sit in judgment on him at the end of that life. And according to the Bible that I've read, God has also commanded his people, his believers, that they shall not attempt to sit judgment. That judgment is reserved for him and him alone. So why they think they have to contravene the free will that God gave everyone, or this God they believe in — I don't obviously believe such a God exists, or that any God exists for that matter, but it's the God they believe in. Why they think they should stand and contravene his will and his commandments to an attempt to force everyone to conform to their beliefs is beyond me. Once again, it shows the level of ignorance and bigotry. Most of the people in the state have no idea what the Bible actually says. They grant the attributes to a God that they want the God to have and ignore the attributes that are contained within that book. I'm both saddened and sickened by our state leaders' responses to this judge's decision. And while I'm happy that she declared those statutes unconstitutional, I'm sickened by her herself putting a stay in place to delay her own decision taking effect. I don't comprehend it. I don't understand it. She said she needed to clarify it. How long does it take her to prepare a brief clarifying? How much do you have to clarify? No, these statutes are unconstitutional. That means unless you come up with a new law and pass it that conforms to the Constitution, you may no longer ban same-sex couples from having marriage rights or from adopting. I could have explained it that quickly for her. To me, it seems obvious, yet these people who are supposedly educated in the law, probate judges, oh, we just can't understand it, or we think the ruling only applies to this couple. So the declaration that these laws are unconstitutional and discriminate solely and deny solely one type or class of people from this, therefore against the 14th Amendment, which declares equal protection for all under the law. Do they not understand? Can they not comprehend? It's not solely unconstitutional in the instance of the couple who were married in California, want their marriage recognized in the state of Alabama, and one of the wives wants to adopt their son, so she actually has parental rights. But affects all. It's about to the point that I'm ready to cut ties with any who hold a religious belief, be it family, friend, what have you, especially when they cannot give valid reasons for that religious belief, especially when they deny scientific findings out of hand without understanding them or even bothering to try to understand them, and that yet hold to this type of bigotry and prejudice. It's about the point I'm at right now, which saddens me greatly, because unfortunately the majority of my family holds those types of beliefs. And don't see where it's wrong, because they're convinced that, oh, it's a sin, and all sin is a choice. I'm disgusted with the state of Alabama. I'm disgusted with my fellow Alabamian. And I despair for all humanity if this stupidity is allowed to continue for much longer.